This is Beach Blanket Body Bag Part 1. Let's start by going around and introducing ourselves. When I call on you, please say your name, your pronouns, and anything else you would like for folks to know about you. I'll start though. My name is Jason. Any pronoun is fine. And I am the creator of Beach Blanket Body Bag, as well as the games from which it is derived, Brindlewood Bay, The Between, and Public Access. Let's go over to Mike.
Hi, Mike Martins, he, him. I have watched three Elvis movies, and yeah, I'm just gonna leave it at that. You might need to know that.
You have enough to go on, trust me. They're very shallow movies. You've seen one, you've seen them all. Fantastic. Thank you. Ben.
I am Ben. I use he, him pronouns. I have watched zero Elvis movies, but I've heard some of his songs. They're okay.
Fantastic. And Sarah.
Hello, I am Sarah. Any pronouns fine. I was today years old when I learned what Hang Ten actually means, and I'm just an avid fan of all things roleplay.
Fantastic. And finally, Brian.
Hey, I'm Brian, he or they pronouns, author of Butter Princess, which Mike illustrated and Ben designed the character keeper for. So that's our little game connection. And I've never served,
Fantastic.
ever.
Let's go through cats. This will reveal all or most of what you need to know about this game to start. Okay, so CATS, of course, is an acronym that stands for concept, aim, tone, and subject matter. I like to do CATS to establish some basic expectations for what we're going to be doing this week and next week. So, beach concept. Beach Blanket Body Bag is a horror game about a group of teenagers having a beach party on an isolated island in 1965. There are mysteries about the island the teenagers have to solve, all while reckoning with a shared trauma from their past. The game is inspired by 1960s teen beach party movies like Beach Blanket Bingo, Muscle Beach Party, and the Gidget movies, as well as slasher films. The game is also inspired by surf rock music from the early to mid 60s and psychedelic music from the late 60s. The game is carved from Brindlewood, meaning its mechanics and procedures are inspired by games like Brindlewood Bay and Public Access. Aim. Our aim in this game is to tell a good story, period. Sometimes you'll tell that story while portraying your character, and other times you'll do so by narrating flashbacks or out of character moments. You'll also help the keeper, me, with world building by answering special paint the scene questions that help develop what a place looks, sounds, and feels like. Tone. Initially, and on the surface, the tone is bubbly and light and full of summer fun. That will quickly turn into something darker and will sometimes slip into the surreal. On a cosmic and spiritual level, these characters are transitioning from the carefree, bubblegum days of affluent American teenagerdom in the early to mid 60s to the more transgressive and psychedelic age that follows just behind, and the game's tone reflects that. Subject matter. Harm to teenagers, harm to animals, graphic violence, drinking and drug use, sexism, and ritualistic murder are all things that can come up in this game. Additionally, please know that just because this game takes place in a particular time period, you aren't restricted to the social norms of that time period, particularly as it relates to marginalization. In our version of 1965, things like race, nationality, ethnicity, sexuality, gender, religion, able-bodiedness, and neurodivergence are not a barrier to being murdered while having summertime fun on an isolated island. And so, that is our cats. Let's pause the video to make characters and then we will come back. Okay, characters are made, and I will now begin presenting the mystery for a beach blanket body bag. So, unlike in a normal Carve from Brindlewood game, the presentation is for these shorter ones is very long because we have to do a lot of background and storytelling before we begin playing. And so just lock in, pay attention, and there will be little breaks and stuff and different things to do as we go. Beach blanket body bag. It's the summer of 65. You and your friends have taken a ferry to Wolf Island to enjoy a weekend of surfing, sunbathing, and sleeping under the stars. Wolf Island has a beautiful white sand beach, a hiking trail that goes deep into a forest of tall pines, and apart from that rich, weird goober who lives on the hill, no one on it. This beach party is 100% square free. No parents, no police, no problems. You almost didn't come back to Wolf Island after what happened to Darla Sunset last year. Darla was such a good swimmer. She's the last person you'd expect to find washed up on the beach, drowned. But life must go on, and it's what Darla would have wanted. No doubt she's beaming down at you right now from that great pipeline in the sky. She had such a beautiful smile. It's early in the day on Friday when the ferry drops you off. It won't be back until Sunday morning. Going around the table, let's introduce your character by name and look, and tell us what we see you doing as you disembark and head to the beach. We'll start with Ben. Tell us your character, what you look like, and what we see you doing as you disembark.
I'm playing Boomer Bennett, pronouns he, him. He is arriving in a red and white striped ringer tee and blue and yellow floral swim trunks and a cotton bucket hat in navy blue. And he has a canvas and leather surfboard carrier. So what we see as soon as he gets off of that vehicle, that shirt's coming off. He's running for the beach with the surfboard in tow.
Fantastic. Sarah, tell us about your character.
I am playing Nancy Pearson. Anyone who knows me well enough can call me Snaps. I am 5'2" and just a really short little, perfect little lady. She's got a lemon yellow seersucker sundress on, white cat eye sunglasses, and a floral headscarf that matches her cotton sneakers. And she's the one that is always just running up to the guys, and she's only about like coming up to maybe mid pec range. Oh, hi. Super sweet. Couldn't possibly be her.
Fantastic. And let's go to Mike. Tell us about your character.
Yes, my character is Kenny Clarkson, known by some people as Soupy K. We see him, he's wearing these white cotton deck pants. He's got these rubber flip-flops on. He's got black glasses, kind of like mine. He is ripped. There's one of those like steel American steel pull-up bars out on the beach, and he's doing pull-ups, and he's gathered a crowd of local children who are asking him math problems.
To be clear, there are no locals. So
there's no locals.
There are no locals.
There are just partiers. Non-local party animals are here, and he has gathered a crowd, and they are asking him math problems, and he's answering them as he's doing push-ups. Is he getting them right? Who knows? They are too difficult math problems for any of you to understand what the solution might be, but he's confident.
Indeed. I take that back. There's one local who you might meet later. Fantastic. Brian.
I am Steve Toothy Harper. And as I'm getting off the ferry, I've got a faded blue chambray button down and red and white striped board shorts. I basically look like a faded American flag. Got my straw sun visor with that green piece of plastic in there, and my espadrille slip-ons. And I'm kind of nervously initially from the pier there, checking out the shoreline, looking for any shark fins. I've heard some rumors about the teeth on Wolf Islands, and a little concerned about that. I'm not scrawny exactly. I definitely have put some time into trying to build up some beach muscles, but I'm certainly not up to the standards of Soupy K's musculature.
Indeed not. Who could be, really? Fantastic. Let's keep going here. So let's get to know your characters a bit more. We're going to have a scene, roleplay a scene of everyone setting up camp on the beach. Some questions. Who is your best friend here? Who is your rival? Do you secretly have a crush on someone? How do you show all these things, subtly or not so subtly? We'll meet a number of the other partygoers as well. And so let's just begin. Everyone is on the beach. It's early on Friday. We're setting up your little campsite on the beach where you'll be spending the weekend. And I will tell you that no one is more excited about being here right now than the three group dogs, Bongo, Tiki, and Ripcord. Bongo is a yellow golden retriever rather, kind of bounding about like every time you're trying to set something up, like Bongo's tail is wagging wildly, knocking it over. He sees a bit of a problem. Tiki, I don't remember what kind of dog Tiki is. She's a little dog. I remember that. Tiki is a Boston Terrier, very bright, curious eyes, watching every movement. She's very perceptive. She's always digging, trying to find something. And then we have Ripcord, the German Shepherd, who he runs ahead of the group and scouts the area to make sure everything is all clear and okay, and then keeps guard while everyone sets up camp. What are the rest of you all doing? We'll meet more of them later. Boomer.
I think if Boomer could be described as any dog, it would be Golden Retriever. So he is running about trying to get in on any kind of fun that might be starting, even if it's not quite there yet. I think he's a pretty popular guy. People like him, but there's not a lot going on upstairs.
Just keep the scene going. What's everyone else doing?
Nancy has a little tripod stool that she sets out and then has sets up another one next to hers. And she's kind of positioning her blanket closest that is feasible to where the bonfire is going to be that night because she wants to be kind of in the mix. I think what Nancy loves more than anything else is stirring the pot. I don't have a crush on anyone here, but I love to maybe shove somebody in that direction. Whether it's to suss out someone's relationship or spoil someone else's.
I will tell you that you are joined, Nancy, by someone who does call you Snaps. This is, let's get a character name here. Candy Clearwater, the life of the party. Sparkling turquoise eyeshadow, pineapple scented perfume, jangling plastic bangles on her arms. She walks up to you and she says, well, Snaps, what do you think of the merchandise so far this year?
Hi, Candy. Leave it to you to know where the eye candy is.
You know, everyone has their specialty in life, everyone has their talent, and my talent just happens to be sizing up the boys.
And do you put them in order after you size them? Or is this another short joke, Candy?
Oh, Snaps, I would never make a short joke about you.
Sorry, it was a long ferry ride. Who do you like this year?
Well, I don't want to go into too much detail. I'm trying to keep my options open. But that Bobby Bennett, I mean, there's not much going on upstairs, but who knows what's going on downstairs, am I right?
It looks like a wet, fun slip and slide.
Oh, Snaps. You're one to keep an
Here,
eye
help me
on.
with the other end of this. I need to get the canvas over the branch. Trying to
Okay,
like throw just a tent together.
I love it. Let's keep it going. What's everyone else doing?
You know those inflatable beach balls? I'm blowing one of those up. Finish it off and give it a fist pump or punch to into the air and say, "Hey, Boomer, fetch!"
He'll fetch. He's the
Uh,
best at fetch.
Bongo will intercept, but Bongo is really bad. So he, instead of like, you can't catch a beach ball anyway with if you're a dog. So he just sort of like throws his body at it and hits it and knocks it into the water, and then just kind of tumbles over in the sand.
Nancy and Candy laugh hysterically that it's too much laughter for what just happened.
Yeah, I'm gonna bounce the ball back and forth with Boomer and Bongo for a bit, but every now and then when my back gets to the ocean and the ocean kind of laps at my ankles, I kind of like get a little distracted and sort of like look back nervously, and then maybe I lose the ball for a minute, and then I'm like, it's all good, it's all good. I pick up the ball and bounce it back.
Someone comes up and puts their arm around you, Toothy. It is Skip Moondog Monroe, your group's local beach philosopher. He has sun-bleached hair tucked under a frayed bucket hat. He's usually strumming his ukulele. I'm sure it'll be uke time soon enough. And he always kind of vaguely smells of coconut oil. And he says, Toothy, you seem a little nervous, man. What's going on?
Uh, it's fine, it's fine. I just got to get my feet wet, get back in the water. You heard about the accident, right?
Listen, you gotta just learn how to go with the flow. You know, life's just one long wave, man. Either you ride it or
Yep.
it rides you.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. You're right. Yeah.
I have heard there are sharks in the water, though.
That's yeah, that's sort of the concern. It'll be fine.
But don't worry about it. They're more scared of us than we are of them.
I have heard that. I've heard that often.
But on the other hand, sometimes that fear might translate into lashing out violently. The universe is sometimes very easy, but also sometimes very nuanced and complex.
Deep thoughts, like deep water.
Plunk, 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 plunk on the ukulele. Soupy K.
Yeah, Supi K has felled a palm tree. He didn't bring his own tent, but he has a pile of palm leaves, and he is working on building a rustic structure. And every once in a while, he's like drawing in the sand with a stick as well, and like there's a right angle, and he's like a squared plus b squared equals c squared, and then he snaps the palm tree at the appropriate length that he needs. And every once in a while, yeah, he turns to everyone who's mingling and is just like, now everyone, make sure that you are building your camps above the high water mark. Otherwise, we could all be wiped away. Don't socialize too much right now because that will put us in a bad situation for the party later.
Hank Hambone Harrison, who has a perpetually mustard stained Hawaiian shirt and the constant rustle of snack wrappers in his pockets. He says, Soupy, I can't figure out how to get this fire lit. I've got 3 dozen hot dogs and hamburger patties. I gotta get going here.
Oh, here, let me help with that. And he runs over and he just looks beautiful. This beautiful beast running over, and he grabs 2 sticks and just very quickly and instantly there's fire.
Whoa, that's incredible. Uh, and he like gets his little he starts making his little hot dog skewers and stuff. It's not nearly lunchtime, but Hambo doesn't care. One last little go around for this of the scene here. Boomer, what do we see you doing here as we're setting up camp?
I think the beach ball bounces off the side of Boomer's head as he's just staring at Kenny from behind, just like you can see the hearts in the eyes, and then oh, sorry, man, and he runs to the waves to get the ball again.
Tiki looks at you and then looks at Kenny and then looks back at you and with keen canine perceptiveness just nods and trots off into the sand. What about you, Snaps? You're muted, Sarah.
No, this Yorkie Gator has me gagging.
She's a Boston Terrier, but yeah.
Okay. Yes. Nancy is gonna maybe try a little Sussy behavior. Bobby, can you help Candy and I? This isn't working. And see if we can call over Boomer.
It's so heavy, Bobby. We need
Right
your
on,
help
right
to
on.
lift it.
He's running already, just on his way to help.
She's just gonna scritch his bicep. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, always, always, always happy to help. Do I call you Snaps?
I think you absolutely could, and she would not object. But I don't know if we did before now.
Candy says, "You know, I don't have a cute nickname."
Your
What?
name's a cute nickname, Candy.
I
It's
guess
because
it
she's so
is.
sweet.
Oh, Kenny, what do we see you doing at the end?
I stroll up and um, I say, "Hey, everybody! I saw a really smart mermaid. You know what she was wearing?
Hambone will bite. What?
An algae bra."
I don't get it.
Hambone laughs genuinely. He thinks that's very funny. He laughs so hard that a little bit of hot dog falls out of his mouth. Toothy, what are you doing right now?
Briefly glancing back at the ocean to see if there's truly a hot mermaid, and then realizing, like, oh, that was a joke. Um, I too have been to college. We are truly sleeping out under the stars, right? Um, I'm gonna, take a moment to set up my own little tent, like tapping the little pegs, um, having it definitely faced directly at the ocean with sort of a sheltered uh, backstop, if you will. Like make sure I'm up against some big piece of driftwood or something.
Fantastic. Let's keep going. This year's Wolf Island trip is. Oh, sorry. This year's Wolf Island trip is extra groovy because Chet Hollister, a shining surf god and the most popular boy in school, has decided to grace your little group with his divine presence. Chet is totally swoon worthy. Golden hair, golden skin, and a body built by Gold's Gym. Everyone in school is either totally in love with him or totally resents him, and even those nutnicks secretly want to be him. A question for you all. Are you madly in love with Chet, or do you resent him? If you're in love with him, what do you imagine your life with him will be like if you can capture his heart? If you resent him, why?
Nancy resents him, but it's because she's in love with him, and it doesn't matter any time that she's in a crowd, he literally looks right over her head and has never made eye contact with her. And she is just full of that kind of like hot rage where I hate you and I desperately need you at the exact same time. She's seething with it.
I love that he like literally and figuratively looks over you.
Yes, sir.
That's good.
All right, so Steve Toothy is definitely secretly in love with Chet. There was that time that Chet kicked sand into my eyes, but Pippi and Squeak say it was deliberate, but it wasn't. He wouldn't do that to me. I know better.
Boomer he resents Chet because all the flowers that Chet gets, it should be Kenny's. Kenny is so much smarter and better looking and a better server, and it's not his fault that the world doesn't see it.
Kenny is in love with Chet, um, and imagines um, the two of them taking down the Soviet Union with their combined brawn, brain, and charisma.
Fantastic. The first day on Wolf Island is a gas. Cooking out, soaking up the sun, dancing on the beach. The surfers are hanging 10, and some of the boys have made it very clear they'd like to hang 11 later tonight. This is just a really boss day. A question for each of you. What was your favorite part of the first day? What did Chet do to make it even better? Or what did Chet do that almost spoiled it for you?
All right, so I had a bit of that sunscreen on my nose that hadn't gotten smeared in right, and Chet came up and he says, hang on, there's something on your nose there, let me get that for you." And he smears that in, and then he says, let me get that spot in your back, the spot you can't reach. And he kind of reveals like he's got enough muscles, he can't reach it. And he says, "You do me first." I rub the spot in on his back. He says, "I'll do you." He's rubbing the lotion on my back, and I'm kind of gazing out at the ocean and kind of getting this sort of muscular rub down. And I'm like, it's going to be okay. Like this is, yeah, I came to the right place at the right time. And it's like, thanks, Chet. And I kind of like go to put my hand on his hand, and he's already gone.
Because he came over to the big wrestling tournament, um, which the co-ed wrestling tournament, and Kenny has been coaching people in the wrestling tournament. Like you gotta be mindful of your center of balance. You don't. Oh, you gotta use more fulcrum power. You're a simple machine, really. And Chet comes over and says, "They may be simple machines, but you look like a complex machine. Come on, let's spar." And the two of us have a little wrestling match to demonstrate the proper techniques.
The best part of Boomer's day was when he was getting coached by Kenny in wrestling until Chet came over and said, "You're not a simple machine." And then they went off and Boomer just went and played with the dogs.
I think at some point, Nancy's just getting some rays and having just a wonderful time in the sun. She can hear all the laughter in the background, and then she hears Candy's laugh. And it's not her real laugh, it's the laugh that she uses when she wants somebody to like fawn over her. And it's that all the way down to her lower register as she glances down Chet's body at the edge of the beach. Nancy's just like, "No, Candy, no, we talked about this," in her mind, and she's just glowering, but chooses to just plunk her sunglasses back on and lie back down on the beach and ignore it.
Fantastic. At this point, inspired by everything we know so far, you should each say one thing your character brought with them to Wolf Island and then add it to your beach bag. Then pick another player to say one other thing your character brought and add that to your beach bag. Who has an idea for their beach bag? This is the CFB equivalent of personal quarters or whatever.
I would go for binoculars for myself if that doesn't conflict with somebody else's idea.
Call on another player to give you something else.
Oh, what, Ben, will you give me a thing?
I want something that could have been where you earned the name Toothy.
One of those shark tooth necklaces? Is that too simple?
There's a weird shark thing going on with Toothy. I don't know what that's all
Yeah.
about.
I
Yeah,
want to
let's go with that.
imply some bad surfing experience, and where that goes, we'll find out.
That could be handy. See a shark tooth necklace, but not just any shark tooth, a megalodon. It's almost too big.
It's a gigantic shark tooth. It's like a medallion.
Awesome.
You could tuck it into your pants like some sort of gunslinger.
All right, who has an idea for the reach bag?
I think I have a portable record player because someone's got to get these dance parties going.
Indeed, indeed. Well, you don't have to worry about that. The dance party happens regardless, no matter where you are and what you've got on you.
But I get to make it happen twice.
It's true.
And of course, I would like to know what Mike thinks I brought.
I think you brought a homemade twister board.
Nice.
Looking for an opportunity to twist and shout.
It's one of those there's this like I can't remember the name of it now, but like there's this like psychologist who came up with this concept of like something like some kind of there's a name for it, like some kind of ritual, like the rituals that men come up with to justify touching each other, you know. So it seems like Twister is like one of those things, right? You know.
I think Nancy brought a full-sized beach umbrella that is the same floral as the scarf and the shoes.
We love that Nancy matches her top to her shoes to her beach umbrella. Get another thing from another player.
Ben, why don't you give me one?
You are aware of your height disadvantages, and sometimes you know to just pack a small step stool. Collapsible.
I take that gratefully as a player, but thankfully my character doesn't know that happened. She's just planning ahead.
Who still needs their beach bag item?
I need one. I have a giant technical manual for the operation of some kind of giant mainframe computer from these days, but it's so big that I can also use it to do curls, which is what you often see me doing, is just like reading the manual and doing curls.
And choose another player to give you something else.
Toothy.
Don't know the right word for it, but you know those rubber band resistance trainer things that have like a wooden handle at each end? I think you got one of those because I could see that being handy.
Fantastic. I think that's everybody, right? All right. Friday night. Friday night is for telling scary stories around the campfire. There seems to be some disagreement on how Wolf Island got its name. Each of you is going to pick a legend about Wolf Island from the lists below. Alternatively, you can make up your own story about how the island got its name. After everyone's picked, we'll take a break so you can think of your story, and when we get back, you will tell us the story. I will give you the list here. The legends of Wolf Island are the mass murderer, a notorious killer called the Wolf, used this island as a hideout while trying to evade capture. Old Grayshanks, a mythic wolf or wolf-like creature of enormous size that called this island home. Wolf Industries, a secretive corporation with government ties that use this island to perform experiments. The Wolf Family, a family of sadistic cannibals that called this island home. The Cult of the Moon, a moon-worshipping cult for whom this island was a holy site. Or the Pack, a pack of immortal gray wolves that some say still stalk the island's pine forest. Everyone choose now which of the tales you want to tell.
take Old Grayshanks.
Old Grayshanks.
And I would like the Cult of the Moon.
Cult of the Moon. Mike in chat is taking Wolf Industries, it looks like. Is that correct? And Toothy, what are you taking?
Can I merge the Mass Murderer and the Wolf family, the Cannibal
Sure.
family?
Yeah.
If nobody's taking this, right?
Fantastic. All right. We'll take a 15-minute break so you can think about your stories. When we get back, we will sit around the campfire and tell the stories of Wolf Island. All right. See you in 15. It's Friday night. We're sitting around the campfire telling scary stories. Hambone is very nervous and just plowing through candy bars while candy bars and s'mores, just stuffing his mouth with nervous anticipation. Candy looks bored. She's filing her nails. We don't know where Chet got off to. There's a few other people around the fire. Moondog's not sitting at the fire, but he's playing ukulele in the background. He occasionally goes into a minor chord as needed. And the dogs are mostly chill. Tiki and Bongo are kind of asleep or half asleep. Ripcord is, as ever, sitting majestically on watch, making sure everything is okay, everyone's safe. Let's begin telling these stories. Whoever wants to go first.
All right. I can go. Boomer is sitting by the fire and he has, I think, Bongo and Tiki on his lap, both of them just stretched out and pinning him in place. And he'll have talked up this scary story, and mostly just to see Hambone freak out. But, my uncle used to come here like every summer and used to tell me about Old Grayshanks. You heard of him? No? Picture like Bigfoot, but a wolf? Big, big wolf. Fur dark like smoke, and just a howl that could bring down the stars. And my uncle came here and he wasn't supposed to stay overnight, but things happen. And he saw moving through the trees a great dark shape, big reflective eyes catching the moonlight. And as he watched, this giant wolf, Old Grayshanks, stepped out. And he saw my uncle. He stared him down and they had a moment, predator to predator. And Old Grayshanks lifted his leg and pissed on my uncle's boat. And my uncle never saw him again.
Bongo gets up to go hike his leg over by a tree.
Just like that. Bigger.
Who else has a story about Wolf Island?
Oh, I have a story. I'm going to tell you this story, but you're all sworn to secrecy. He looks directly into Boomer's eyes and says, I know I can trust all of you.
Oh, yeah.
Well, he doesn't have his glasses on right now. That's why he's talking less like he did earlier. Like a lot of our dads, my father fought in the war. But my dad both wouldn't and couldn't talk about his time because he was part of a secret military operation. We'd ask him things like, what did you do, Dad? And he'd say, oh, I was a dancer. I sucked venom out of the legs of soldiers who'd been bitten by snakes. Things like that, things that we knew weren't true. But when I turned 16, he said, you're old enough to know the truth now, son.
My father's unit had been tasked with stopping Hitler's occult scientists from developing their own version of the bomb. Instead of blowing things up, the Nazis were developing a bomb that first sucked all of the air in a place in. It would have been the end of life on this planet. When they finally broke into the Nazi science castle, my father received a radio transmission directly from the president. He said, "Don't kill those fascist brainiacs, Clarkson. Capture them. The Ruskies are planning on making their own power play after this war is over, and we're going to need a Huff and Puff bomb in order to keep the edge on them." So they wrangled up the scientists, snuck out of the castle, and they brought the scientists back to the States, where they set up a pseudo government corporation called Wolf Industries, operating on a tiny island off the coast. My father was supposed to keep them in line there and make sure they didn't get out of control. But instead, in their underground labyrinth laboratories, they began sneakily experimenting on him, and he realized it. They were trying to make people into bombs so the bombs could go anywhere. My father had to fight them. He thinks that he killed them all, and he got out and got back and started a family and raised me. That island that Wolf Industries operated on, this is that island. So if you see a tunnel or a hatch, you watch out, because there might be Nazi death occult scientists down below.
Like, were you named codename Soupy K? Is that how you got your nickname?
No, not at all.
Okay. Um, Nancy will lean into the fire and steeple her fingers and point behind her and say, "I have been on this island a few times before. And so last summer, when we all got back, I did some research at the library. And before this island was even like America, there were nothing but ladies living here. And if you hike up that path, you see three stones, like, well, it's like 10 minutes and then you have to go back. Well, I got lost the third time because you had to go back around, but they're all facing west. And to celebrate a full moon, these women would dance. And it was amazing. And they would celebrate. And the whole night was just dancing in the moonlight. And the cool light and the sound of the waves was the only music of their ecstasy. And I can't, excuse me. And she runs off into the night.
Candy says, "Wow, someone should go check on her." Then she
I
goes
got it.
back to doing her nails.
Boomer runs off.
Indeed. Well, Toothy, tell us your tale.
I briefly stare out at the ocean waves coming in for a dramatic pause or two and kind of sigh inwardly, say, let me tell you the story of Timothy Wolf. He was a navigator on a bomber crew just out here over the ocean. World War II, of course. He was a pacifist. He didn't want to fight, but he felt like at the time there was no way to just deny the draft, to deny your duty. So he went anyway, but he thought, if I can navigate, at least I'm not the one pulling the trigger. I'm not causing the damage. And on his very first mission, they were shot down, crashed in the ocean. Most of the crew got into one of those life rafts. They were bobbing in the sea, hoping to be saved. And nobody came. They weren't spotted. They were adrift, and things got bad. And finally, the rule of the sea came into play. The idea that they had to cannibalize each other to survive, and they drew straws. The straws were actually just like seagull bones, because they caught a gull and had to eat it raw, and they'd pull out some seagull bones to figure out who'd draw the short bone to see who went first. And time and again, as those bones were drawn, old Timothy Wolf, he was he was always there. He was the last survivor. He was the last one to eat all of his surviving crewmates. And he finally washed ashore here on what came to be known as Wolf Island. It had a different name before back in the day, but uh, they renamed it Wolf Island in honor of his survival, I guess you'd say. But his sense of pacifism was bent. Uh, Here he was on this island, kind of isolated by himself, but then found there was a few other locals who'd been living here for some time, and he kind of married into the family. They took him in, but he couldn't give up his cannibalistic ways, and still feeling like he didn't want to be, how do you say that? He was at odds with his pacifism versus his need to feed. And so he decided that a piece of driftwood would be his murder weapon going forward. That he would just take only the bleached bones of trees that had washed ashore and use these pieces of driftwood to murder the members of his own family. And out of remorse, out of guilt, he would stash those bones in the lava tubes beneath this very island. So if you see a piece of driftwood with a smear on it that you're like, oh, that's just some algae, but it's a little too red, you just remember the old story of Timothy Wolf and how he survived. And yeah, you look around, like, do you see gulls on this island? Not a lot. Not a lot of gulls. Um, that's what I heard anyway. And with
Candy
that,
says,
oh,
oh, go ahead.
with that, Toothy reaches into his wallet and he pulls out his draft card. And he throws his draft card into the campfire and he says, there's no way they're getting me like they got old Wolf.
Candy says, so these guys who were eating each other were stranded here on this island?
No, they were on the life raft. They were.
Oh, right. That makes more sense because we're like a ferry ride away from Malibu. So
Yeah, he was the last one to wash ashore. It was from like middle of the Pacific to here.
Right. Well, this was really fascinating, everyone. I'm going to go to bed now. It's awfully cold. I don't know if anyone wants to join me in my tent or not to help keep me warm.
I mean,
She
the
looks
fire will keep you warm.
Oh, Soupy. She like stomps off. Moondog says, I'm just going to stay out here and ponder the stars. Plunk, plunk, plunk. Hambone says, this is all so stressful. Cannibals and experiments and giant wolf creatures. I need something urgently. And he goes and starts rooting through his pack of emergency supplies for something to eat. And everyone can just wander off eventually, wrapping up the night.
I think at some point after everybody's cleared away from the fire, Nancy will come back to the main center of the beach and just sit morose next to Moondog and maybe slump her head on his shoulder if he lets her.
And he just like nods. He nods because he knows he's very sensitive and women trust him. This affirms what he's always known. The next morning.
Oh,
go
can I
ahead.
give one little line before we hit the
Oh,
next
sure,
one?
please do.
Just gonna like take off my little straw visor and kind of brush my hair back and say, Darla would have loved it here. She loved telling stories by the campfire. She washed up right over there, didn't she?
I think Hambone, normally so happy-go-lucky / nervous wreck, says really quietly, Toothy, We don't talk about Darla. And he gets up and walks off. The next morning, Saturday, as everyone is crawling out of their tents, making breakfast over the last embers of the campfire, responding to the call in nature, a frantic barking is heard. Tiki has discovered the body of Chet Hollister, propped up against a pine tree, his innards hanging out of his stomach. Ripcord looks very distraught. How could he have let this happen? Bongo is licking at the blood and chewing on the intestines. You don't have any way of calling for help, and the ferry won't be back until tomorrow morning. The curse of Wolf Island strikes again. You could just turtle up on the beach until tomorrow, but you all remember what happened last year with Darla Sunset. No one outright blamed you for her death, but a black cloud followed you all year. Shopkeepers looked at you funny. Police cars occasionally idled behind you as you walked down the street. Even your parents had been kind of cold toward you. And Darla was a social outcast. How much worse will things be if you're implicated in the death of everyone's favorite surf Adonis? You need to find out what happened to Chet. Maybe you can stop it from happening again, or maybe you just use that information to help you survive the night. And so, I'm going to get back into morning mode. Boop. And we have our question. In CFB style, we have our question: who or what killed Chet Hollister? It's a complexity 8, and the opportunity is to locate the killer, then capture or destroy them, or survive the night and take the information to the authorities tomorrow morning. Now, when this game actually gets published, it will have a map that you will be able to look at and decide where you want to begin investigating or looking around. In place of that, if you go to the mystery tab, I've listed out all the locations. There's the beach, where you're currently at, the pier, there is a boarded up Cowabunga burger, the Pine Forest Trail. There are also some places you can reach from the Pine Forest Trail. And so let's just have the scene of everyone having discovered the body, Tiki feeling very proud of herself, Ripcord feeling very, very bad about himself, Bongo chasing a beach ball, blood dripping out of his mouth. Let's just have the scene, role play.
I think Nancy's trying to cover up the fact that she isn't as sad as everyone else is about Chet being dead. She just, at least it's over.
Candy's like, oh my God, Chet, not Chet. I have
think
something to tell you all. Yesterday, Chet proposed marriage to me. I said no, of course. I'm much too young to be getting married. But just to think, I could have been Miss Candy Clearwater Hollister. Oh, sure.
Nancy's gonna pick up Tiki and just start scritching the good little girl anxiously because she is not dealing with Candy's performance well.
I think Boomer, who had been out all night on the forest trail looking for Nancy and is like, he has leaves in his hair, he looks like he's been wandering around all night, he'll give Candy a hug.
Oh, Boomer. At times like this, it's so good to have such a powerful, strong pair of comforting arms.
I mean, Kenny's busy, but I hope mine'll do.
They're good enough. And don't let anyone ever tell you they're not.
I'm good enough.
Your arms are, yes.
Toothy's gonna um, kind of slowly walk up beside Ripcord, give some scritches behind the ears, and say, "It's all right, Ripcord. We all make mistakes sometimes. We miss things. Uh, but there's a way forward, I think. And uh, I'll say, are you good with sense? And then whatever footwear Chet has, I'm gonna pull off a shoe and put it under Ripcord's
Oh,
nose and
that's
see
a
if I
good
can get
idea. Yeah.
Ripcord chasing a scent. Can
Yeah,
you
I
get the
like
trail,
that.
Ripcord? Can you get the trail?
Oh, that's good. Let's do the information move. So I'll read, or the meddling move, we call it in this. When you search for a clue, conduct research or otherwise gather information. Describe how you're doing it and roll with an appropriate ability. I think it's probably reason. It's a very smart idea. Go ahead and roll with reason.
Uh, that did not go well. That's a 5.
5.
But what's my special power? My third gear, hang on tight.
Read it to us. I don't know. I don't remember.
I'm not in danger, so I don't think it really works.
Um, Ripcord, I think, is going to pick up the. I think he just like, ignores the shoe thing. I don't think he's not paying attention to that. But he does like perk up, and he looks at the tree line of the pine trail, and you see it too, Toothy. There's a shadowy figure. Maybe it's a man, a woman, it's hard to tell, but you just see like a shadowy figure standing in the pines. And whoever this person is, they're watching you. And I'm going to give you the condition being watched.
Excellent.
And then you just see them disappear. And Ripcord barks and tries to run off, but you have to like grab him so he doesn't like run off by himself. Let's keep the scene going. Everyone's just on the beach in various stages of grief, pathos. Who knows what else is going on here? There's the body as well.
I think when
Uh,
Nancy realizes that Bobby's been out all night, she might just kind of give a sad little wave.
He'll wander over and I was looking for you all night, Snaps.
Boomer, I'm so sorry. No one came after me. I should have known you would.
I guess we passed each other in the dark.
Candy walks up to you, Kenny, out of earshot of everyone else, and says, I think it's kind of funny. I think it's kind of funny that Snaps wandered off by herself, and Chet was also gone at the same time. You don't think Snaps could have harmed Chet? Maybe they had an argument. She stabbed him, spilled his guts out all over the sand.
I think you have a weird sense of humor if you think that's funny, Candy.
I don't think it's funny. I'm just trying to explore all the possibilities, Soupy.
I suppose it is a possibility.
I mean, she is very small, and Chet's was very tall and broad-shouldered and golden.
I have to work out the timings on this, and like, I pull like a notepad out of my like pants pocket, and I'm like writing everything down. And it was like, do you remember what time it was? Do you remember the position of Polaris above us?
Oh my God, quit being such a nutnik. I don't understand any of the words you just said. I'm just saying, look, the injury, the wound, where his guts are spilling out of, it's the exact height it would be if Snaps had a knife and stuck her hand out directly in front of her. It'd be right there in his stomach. I'm just saying.
Have you actually measured it, Candy? Is it exact?
I'm not going to get near a body, Soupy.
Well, I guess one of us has to.
All right, fine. One of us has to. By one of us, you mean you, right?
Yes, that's what I mean, Candy. And he grabs a vine and he's going to use it as like a measuring tape to determine if this is the exact height or what this exact height is.
Moondog, still playing the ukulele, he walks over and he says, I wouldn't touch the body, Soupy. You're
I'm not
tampering
going
with
to touch
evidence.
the body. I'm just measuring things, getting details so we understand the logistics of the crime scene and how this may have gone down.
Go ahead and make the meddling move with reason as well.
Okay. Seven.
7. I'll give you a clue in a moment. Bobby, Tiki, ever industrious, she takes off from the group and runs over toward the pier, which is just a little ways down the beach. It's where you were all dropped off. She runs down the pier. She's always got her eye out for something. What do you do?
Tiki, we should stay together.
She's barking. She goes over to the pier.
Oh, he'll chase after her.
What's everyone else doing?
Tiki would have leapt out of Nancy's arms, so
Right,
she's
yeah.
right behind Boomer, following him down to the pier.
Let's talk about the pier. There are weathered wooden pilings rising from the foamy surf like skeletal fingers encrusted with salt, barnacles, patches of rust on the iron fittings, the steady creak and groan of old timbers shifting underfoot. The railings leave splinters on your hands if you're not careful. Let's paint the scene, everyone. Standing at the end of this isolated pier, looking toward the distant mainland, what do you see, or fail to see, that reinforces just how cut off from help you are?
Fucking sharks, man.
Wait, did we fail to see them or did we see them?
Yeah, good point. Yeah, Toothy just knows they're in there somewhere.
There's the aged and weathered remains of a fishing boat that had been caught on some of the hidden coral reefs around the island, because not just anyone can get here. You need to know the proper route.
Immediately next to that is the wreck of a Coast Guard ship that came to save the fishing boat.
Oh, I want to lean into the rule of three, but instead, there's no poles or man-made wiring anywhere on this island. So there's no electricity, there's no phone service, there's no cable between us and the mainland. There's just no way that we can contact anyone.
Tiki runs onto the pier. The two of you are behind her. And she stops at a certain point in the pier and is like barking down into like the gaps of the planks of wood. You can go under the pier to see what Tiki's barking at if you wish.
Boomer will do that.
I think I want a funny moment where Nancy puts out like her whole arm, like trying to stop Boomer, which she couldn't physically, but puts up, wait, Boomer, I should
What?
get my umbrella. We can pry open a bit of the boards and peer down there better. I don't think that we should go down there after what happened to Chet. I don't think it's safe.
I'll be fine. Don't be silly. I'll swing over the end and just swim right under. It'll be fine.
Boomer, it's mostly, at this part of the pier, it's mostly shallow water and rocks. You can kind of wedge yourself in between the rocks to see what it is that Tiki's so interested in. Unfortunately, even your arms are and shoulders are too big to fit inside this space. It's probably going to be better for Snaps to go in there.
Maybe teamwork, Snaps.
All right. I can fit, but go run and get my umbrella first.
Okay, yeah. Good at fetch.
So what's the plan here, Snaps?
I think that before I wedge myself in there, I want to make sure that I can get back out again.
Mhm.
So I want to like pry open one of the boards on the actual pier and just pull it up. And I'm going to
Oh,
use my umbrella as leverage
oh, I
and
see.
use my very special move, which
Oh, I
lets
see.
me,
Oh, I see. So you're going to pry up the wood and go down. Oh,
yes,
that's good. I like that. Yeah. And you're small
I
enough
don't
to
want.
where you can, yeah, that's good. Okay, that's great. That does invoke Itsy Bitsy Teeny Weeny. I do think this is going to be um, I think we're still in the meddling move. You can make a case for a day move, but I'm going to say it's meddling move. Um, you get double advantage if you mark your umbrella because of your move, which means you would roll
A-
4 dice and take the two highest.
a- And I do think that that's why I sent Boomer to play fetch, and I'm a little guilty about that.
Indeed.
So I roll again, and this is to both successfully pull up the board and get in there and find out
Yeah,
what's
it's to do the
going
whole
on.
thing. Yeah, and I think it's
Whole
going to
thing.
be with. I think it's going to be vitality actually.
Okay. So small. That's a 9 plus 1 for 10
10.
with
Nice.
my double advantage.
You will find something down there. Boomer, you're helping. Toothy, what are you doing? Everyone else is busy.
I got so captivated at the campfire last night, I kind of forgot to eat anything. I think I want to check out this boarded up cowabunga burger.
Yeah, you can head over there. It's just a little ways down the beach. The idea originally was that Wolf Island was going to be this like little destination tourism spot that they built the Cowabunga burger. It never opened because that never happened. And
Yeah.
so
There's probably a bag of chips or something they left behind though, or like
yeah,
Twinkies don't go bad.
indeed. Cowabunga burger. There's peeling turquoise paint and faded surfboard shaped signs advertising menu items like Hang 10 hamburgers and pipeline pineapple shakes, now barely legible beneath layers of grime and weather damage. It's boarded up, but you might be able to break in if you want to do that. I think it'll be the day move to do that.
It's abandoned at this point. I don't see any harm in popping loose some planks. I'm sure I can find a way to tack them back in.
Let's do the day move. When you do something risky or face something you fear, name what you're afraid will happen if you fail or lose your nerve.
That figure I saw on the crest of the hill, I think they're in here now.
Oh, that's good. I had a similar idea, like you can feel someone watching you. And I
Yeah.
think because of that, because of your condition, I'm going to put you at disadvantage here. It's going to be with composure.
All right.
So roll 3 and take the two lowest.
My dice are so bad. I rolled 2 1s and a 2.
Not great.
So,
I'll take over the scene here in a moment. Let me check back in with Super K. Super K, I owe you a clue. You got a mid result, right?
Yep.
So what you were doing was doing measurements with a vine or a seaweed or something. I think was your plan.
Yeah, just marking it and then, yeah, comparing heights.
You're gonna notice something that no one else has seen.
Mm.
First, you're going to see Chet's discarded Polaroid camera.
Mm.
And And importantly, you're going to see that Chet in his hand has a Polaroid picture. He took some kind of photo before he was killed. The Polaroid's blurry and distorted, but it depicts something massive emerging from the surf. That's your clue. I'm curious how it makes you feel.
Um, I would. This thing looks bigger than me.
It looks like, yeah, it looks, I mean, it's huge. Whatever it is, it could just be a distortion, who knows? But it looks like
Yeah, yeah,
something
yeah.
massive rising up out of the water.
That's pretty big. I am kind of like sizing myself up with it.
Yeah.
I'm kind of using, maybe I'm even like sketching a little bit to determine the perspective and what the actual height of this thing would be. And I'm like, oh, I don't think I can take that thing down. So I'm concerned.
Indeed. Uh, take a condition, unnerved. But you have a clue, and you can note that clue on the mystery tab. Let me give a clue to Boomer and Snaps. When you get down there, Snaps, let's just have the scene of like Boomer like hollering at you from above and Tiki like barking, and you're like down there, you're trying to like wedge yourself in, you're crawling around this little space.
Boomer's basically got his head upside down through the hole, trying to peer into the darkness. Anything down there?
Just keep hold of the umbrella.
Yeah.
Trying to like figure out where these rocks kind of part and trying not to step in anything. Worried about like a jellyfish sting or something else.
You find Tiki's very good at her job. You find Chet's favorite comb. He's often not seen without it, but it's tangled up with someone else's hair.
What on? Okay, Boomer, can you pull me up? Give me some leverage there, big guy.
You're like a little Mary Poppins. Gotcha. Yeah, I'll pull her up.
Chet had blonde hair, and this hair that's tangled up in the comb is darker and longer than his hair. Tiki looks very, very pleased with herself, sitting there, wagging her tail. She was able to smell that and suss that out. Go ahead and note that in your clue list.
Does Nancy have short hair?
Dark, but not too short.
Hmm.
Toothy, I'm going to take the scene since you got a miss. You get inside the Cowabunga burger. That part's not too hard. You're able to kind of take off some of the, peel back some of the boards and slip in through a window. The Cowabunga burger, inside, you can kind of hear the wind whistling through small cracks between the boarded up windows and the doors. The wind kind of rustles the palm tree print paper napkins that are still neatly folded in chrome dispensers. Let's paint the scene. As we peer into the shadowy interior of this never opened burger joint, what cheerful but now faded decorations or details remind us of the joyful teenage hangout this place could have been.
It's a fucking shark, man. But it's a cartoon shark with like a big shake in one hand and a hamburger in the other, and it's like, ah.
There was a surfboard attached by stretchy springs on four sides, like the old kids riding horses, where you could pretend you were surfing and get your picture taken after eating one of their most expensive meals. And it's still there, and it sways and squeaks a little bit in the breeze.
I think
There's a
that every single one of the stools, the cushions lining the bar, are shaped like an open seashell. And so they swivel and turn, and all of them now are cracked as if lying on the beach, pounded by the waves over and over again. They've just all deteriorated to pieces.
There's a jukebox that is powered by a bicycle. Um, so even if the power goes out, the party can keep going.
Toothy, you're already a little bit on nerves, or you're on edge, sneaking around this place. You probably don't feel any better about that big cartoon shark staring at you hungrily. It looks like it wants to eat more than pineapple milkshakes. And then you hear something from the kitchen, the sound of something clattering, falling, a crash. And then you hear from the darkness, I want the night move since you're in this dark place. What are you afraid is going to happen right now if you lose your nerve?
Whatever killed Chet kills me, and this is the last anybody sees of Toothy Harper.
Indeed. I'm going to put you at disadvantage because of your condition, and I think this is going to be. I mean, are you just like holding steady? You're going to try to get out of there.
Uh, is there like this never opened up this business, right?
No.
But did they manage to stock the kitchen knives before they didn't open? So like, can I
Uh,
grab a kitchen knife to try to defend myself?
oh, I see. Yeah, I'm into that. I think regardless, it's going to be a composure roll. I think so. Go ahead and make your composure roll a disadvantage.
All right.
I have to say how it's worse than you being killed. I think. Um, here's how it's worse than that. Um, Ripcord will find whatever's left of you and bring it back to camp.
All right. Composure with disadvantage. Here we go.
hmm
Oh, that's much better. That is a 10 actually with my composure of 1.
Nice. Go ahead and just describe how you arm yourself to uh to like defend yourself against whatever this is or whoever this is, but then there's like no one there. Like maybe you're just overhearing things.
Yeah. So I look down and I kind of like go to touch my giant megalodon necklace for luck, get me through something. Like, wait, teeth, shark teeth, defense, like defend yourself. And then I'm kind of like quickly scan the restaurant, see that there's this like one rusty kitchen knife that they'd stuck on a magnet or whatever. I don't know if they used those back in '65, but anyway, rusty kitchen knife, grab it, and then kind of like back myself into the corner, and I grab a spatula in the other hand. So I'm like, knife and spatula. I'm ready to defend myself here. And then kind of like, is that just the wind and the boards? That was just the wind. I gotta pull it together, man. Like, I'm just falling apart.
Let's go around the table at this point and see what everyone's doing. So, Boomer and Snaps, there's nothing else to do at the pier. You can go back to the beach as you wish. Kenny, you found a clue. Both, so is Boomer and Snaps. You all are putting something together here. Um, let's just have the scene three of you, not Toothy. Toothy's still at the Cowabunga Burger. Hambone. Hambone is handling the situation in the only way he knows how, which is to fire up some food. He's got breakfast going in a skillet. You can kind of hear bacon sizzling and stuff, and he says, "You know, if we're all gonna die, we might as well die on a full stomach, right?"
As he says that, there's a seagull that like perches onto Chet's body, and Kenny is looking at it and is like, "We got to give him a proper burial, at least."
We can't bury him. We need to like bring him back to his parents.
We should at least cover his body up, Candy says.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. With what?
She goes and she's like, "Here, I've got my beach blanket." And she pulls out her big stripy beach blanket. She says, "I never imagined this being a death shroud for my beloved, but here we are."
Hey, it's
Here
a
we are.
beach blanket body bag.
We were both racing for it.
Indeed you
The
are,
titular
yes.
line.
Nancy deliberately didn't offer the canvas of her tent, waiting for the punchline. I think that Nancy's going to stick real close to Tiki for two reasons. One, she's feeling quite anxious and out of sorts and enjoys having a hyperactive little emotional support clue hound at the moment.
Yes.
So I think that I'll look over at Kenny and say, do you think there's do you think there's any truth to your scary stories? Could this be government, aliens, something?
We can't rule anything out right now, Snaps.
Well,
Except dragons. I've ruled out dragons.
okay, probably. Dinosaurs, cool. Um,
And Prussians.
she'll hold up the comb with all of the hair and say, well, I think the killer might be a brunette.
We
This
can't
is
rule out
Chet's
the
comb.
Prussians anymore.
He wasn't anywhere without it. And I found it underneath the pier. So he
Underneath the
was
pier, you
there
say?
before he was here? I don't know.
I hold the Polaroid up at Snap's face. I don't know. That's all I got.
Did you
This
take
would have been
that?
by the pier, though, right?
This is a lot. I think I need some bacon.
"I got you covered," Hambone says. And
I'm going to
he
give a little scrap to Tiki as well because she's been such a good girl.
she has been a good girl. I think as you're putting the scrap in her mouth, like Bongo comes up and snaps it and like away and and bounds off. Fantastic. Let's check in on Toothy. Steve Toothy Harper. Well, you're in the restaurant. Time to look around. It seems to be maybe just your mind's playing tricks on you. There's nobody in here, though you still have that pervasive sense of being watched. What do you do?
Not against poking around further if I can, but otherwise,
Yeah, you haven't actually done a meddling move yet. You've just
didn't I
survived.
fail it? I thought I failed it and then survived.
No, it was It was a day move and a night move.
Oh, got it. Okay. Yeah, I guess looking in a way for signs of anything involving either Chet or Darla in this. Like this was the building was built before Darla died, I think, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, either one. If there's a way to tie these two together, see if there's anything, I don't know, like check the cash register, check inside the drawers, check the cabinets, check the manager's office.
I'm going to go ahead and let you do the meddling move with reason, but at disadvantage because of your condition.
Alrighty. What have I got? 8? No, sorry, 5. Just 5.
5. Indeed. Speaking of 5, let's take a 5-minute break.
All right.
Toothy, you're searching around the Cowabunga burger, going through drawers, opening the cash register, which never received any cash. And you fail to see someone sneaking up behind you. Perhaps they were hiding in the pantry. They use a large rusted tin can of pineapple slices to bash you over the head, knocking you unconscious.
Oh no.
You can avoid that fate by marking the red star. If you go to the tab, the red star, there are 5 boxes. They're shared between all of you. And you can mark the first one that's empty. And you don't have to do what it says right away, but we'll read it if you decide to do that.
I do have one question. If collectively we mark all 5 boxes in the red star, have we failed the mission, so to speak?
No, but any night move, you're fully at the mercy of whatever
Okay. Yeah,
whatever
right.
happens. So yeah.
If you all are okay with it, I feel like I would be happy to mark the red star, the first box in the red star, to avoid the fate of being bashed with the pineapple can.
You will narrate a flashback to last year's outing to Wolf Island when everyone was on the ferry over. Were you surprised to see Darla sunset on the trip? Everyone else should describe something about Darla's appearance or behavior that confirmed what everyone in town said about her. She was a fast girl with few inhibitions. So everyone be thinking of your Darla stories, and Toothy, you have to think about your Darla story as well.
I got
And
mine ready, but if I got an idea, like, it'll work, I think. But
we can wait a moment. We'll come back to it here in a moment.
Right.
Instead, you find a clue. First of all, I want to confirm, what is your character move? You have...
third gear, hang on tight, so I can bolt from trouble once per game.
Oh, yeah,
Me
okay.
and any number of other characters, and once per game, I can be somewhere
anywhere,
immediately
yeah.
ready for action.
Okay, so that doesn't apply to this, what's about to happen. You find your clue. So I think as you're looking around, let me grab a clue for you. You're going around into an old drawer, or like a drawer, like filled with like tools and maybe a knife or something, who knows. But something in there sharp, like stabs you in the hand. And so you have a condition of bleeding hand.
I reflexively put it in my mouth. I'm like sucking the blood. I'm like, oh, not good, not good.
Yeah, hopefully it's not a tetanus situation. But in any case, you do find something useful in the drawer as well, a clue. Inside the drawer, you find something that is really out of place. A wooden carving of a moon surrounded by wolves. Like a medallion or a plaque or something.
I will, if it fits in my pocket of my swim shorts, I'll stuck it in my pocket. That's not the kind of thing you typically find in a half-finished burger joint that never opened.
Indeed not.
Unusual.
Let's go back to the beach with everyone else. So, what's the next plan of action?
Um, I walk over to Boomer, pat him on the shoulder, and I'm like, "Hey, man,
Hey, Kenny.
I can tell you loved him too by
Who?
the fact that neither of us have been wearing a shirt the entire time."
Oh, okay.
But he's gone now. I think we can put shirts on. It's what he would have wanted. I mean, not want. It's not what he wouldn't have wanted it if he was alive, but if he was dead, he would want to know that we're being at least a little bit modest.
Oh, I mean, we are on a beach, though.
Tiki looks up at you, snaps, and does the dog equivalent of rolling her eyes.
Girl, don't I know it?
Well, I'm delaying putting a shirt on. One thing I'm not sure anyone has asked. Can we tell whether Chet was killed here or was his body moved here?
Mm.
Ripcord has been really, really anxious about the Pine Trail pretty much the whole time. You all don't know about what he and Toothy saw, but he clearly like is watching this sort of like, you know, the beginning of the Pine Trail, the entrance into the little pine forest, and he occasionally like barks and looks in that direction.
Well, I
Maybe
didn't
we
bring a
should.
shirt, but I think I saw a house up that way along the trail, so I'm gonna head out there.
For a shirt?
Yeah, I mean it's a house, right? There's got to be clothes in it.
Candy says, I heard the guy who lives in that house is like a total pervert. Just a weird, rich pervert. I don't think it's safe for someone like me to go up to a house like that.
Then don't.
But it's also not safe for someone like me to stay here on the beach without strong men to protect me.
Okay. So, Kenny, you want to go check out the house?
Yeah, I'm gonna go check out the house. You want to come with me?
Yes.
What are you
Maybe we
doing,
can find two
Snaps?
shirts.
Oh, snaps. Nancy's having a really hard time with Candy because now that it's not gossip, she just really is permanently toxic, and I'm having a hard time with it. I'm not coping very well. This woman was my friend, and I don't know why. I think I'm gonna follow the two men up the hill. I'm gonna bring Tiki and I'll whistle for that other doofus.
Toothy, you can join the rest of the group as well. You can be coming back from Cowabunga Burger as they're getting ready to go up the trail. And as we head up into the Pine Trail, this might be a good time to tell Darla's story. So yeah, please narrate a flashback to last year's outing to Wolf Island. Were you on the ferry? Were you surprised to see Darla sunset on the trip?
I was definitely surprised. I mean, she broke her leg in that skiing accident, and it's not healed up yet. You know it. You can just like she's still got the limp, still kind of does the what do they call those things? Crutches. Um, and I thought she'd be laid up, still healing. I'm shocked that she's here.
Everyone else, what about her appearance or behavior confirms what everyone in town says about her? She's a fast girl. Loose morals, no inhibitions.
On that broken leg, which is on full display with her mini skirt, she has an ankle bracelet.
Like decorative or prison?
Oh, no, like decorative. Like
Okay.
yeah, silver chain.
Got it. Oh, scandalous.
I think under the guise of how much pain she is in, she is taking an awful lot of pills and acting a little goofy.
She wasn't even supposed to be taking the ferry over. She was gonna take Louis Balboa and her were riding over on his dad's speedboat, but apparently they were making out and crashed the boat, so we had to pick them up on the ferry.
That's good. Oh, fantastic. Well, Toothy, do you want to join the others on the Pine Trail?
I'd be happy to. I'll find a suitable moment to reveal what I found on the hike. Let me know when that suitable moment is.
Just whenever you wish. But
All right.
for now, let's talk about the Pine Trail. As soon as I find it. Here we go. Pine Forest Trail. It's getting to be later in the afternoon, but sunlight is still filtering through the dense branches overhead, dappling the dirt path with shifting patterns. Pine needles cushion your footsteps. There is a fresh, invigorating scent of resin. Let's paint the scene. This is a place of tranquility and natural beauty, and yet, what small details along the trail hint at the wild nights and youthful mischief of previous years' visitors?
There is a tree that is absolutely laden with beer bottles that have been added to by potentially generations of revelers.
Almost altar-like.
You know how you can carve initials into a tree trunk and then the tree kind of starts to grow up. There's a lot of the I heart so and so and the like initials like CH hearts DL or so and so. But there's also like scratch outs like they've changed and then like arrows diagramming like DH now hearts over to LZ and all that business. Sort of this weird map of relationships wrapped around a particular tree trunk.
I think further up the trail, as you can see, like one or two rocks peeking up against the tree roots, you catch the rusted skeletal bumper of somebody's dune buggy that got like they were really ambitious. They're like, yeah, we can totally take it up here, and then crashed it into a tree and tipped it over and weren't able to wedge it free. And so it's just been rusting in the salt air for years.
Every so often, scurrying out of the beer bottle altar are hermit crabs with beer cans as their shells.
So everyone's on the Pine Trail. Let's just have the scene of everyone kind of hiking the Pine Trail. It's a good little hike. I'll tell you when you reach somewhere of importance. But for now, it's the four of you. It's the three dogs. It's Hambone, Candy, and Moondog. Moondog's playing ukulele. Candy is complaining a lot about the hike. She's hiking in big wedge slippers or sandals, so not ideal. Ripcord always like runs ahead of the group and like scouts ahead and then sits and waits patiently, letting you know that it's okay to continue. Bongo, I'm not sure Bongo is even totally like aware of where he's at, really. And Tiki is riding in someone's arms, presumably Snaps's. Let's just have the scene.
You know,
I know
Candy,
we
you could
don't.
just
Go ahead.
take those off, actually.
Oh my God, Boomer, you're so smart. And she does. Ah, that's way better.
I could carry them for you if you want.
Oh my God, you are such a dear. And she gives them to you. She's like, I also brought this bag if you want to carry that too.
Okay.
great. Oh, you were just so nice. It's so nice of you to be so kind to me when I'm in mourning.
Oh, yeah, yeah. But weren't you with him last night?
Chet?
Yeah. Is when he proposed?
Oh, yeah, well, he proposed a while back. I just thought of it last night.
Yeah, I guess it does kind of bring all those things up.
I know. It's so sad. Like when I think when I think of the life I could have had with him, it just really gets me to know that that amazing life is going to have to be momentarily postponed.
You, well, you said no.
Boomer, we don't have to go into all these
Okay,
details.
okay. Sorry, sorry.
So I know we're not talking about a lot of stuff right now, but this is, it's 2 years in a row. I think we have to talk about Darla.
No, we don't, Snaps. I thought we all agreed we were never going to talk about her again.
2 dead bodies.
That's
Andy,
why we're trying to figure out what happened to Chet.
I don't know if it's different.
Listen,
Darla
everyone,
was all
calm down.
intact.
Calm down. Correlation is not causation. These may be completely unrelated events.
Until we know you're the one that's not ruling anything out, Kenny.
Hambone says, and she drowned. She had like an injured leg. She probably shouldn't have been in the ocean. So, it was her fault, really.
You
Crunch,
do know she
crunch.
had a habit of faking injuries for attention, right? That whole like Munchausen syndrome thing.
What, are you saying that she wasn't actually hurt?
I mean, we're talking about Darla. Yeah.
She had the eye patch and then both wrists that one time.
Well, the eye patch the eye patch was because she got stabbed in the eye, remember? She was out she got grazed by a harpoon or something.
She definitely put 10 pounds more pressure on that leg than I think it would have been able to hold while it was broken.
And she was a really good swimmer. I don't think that, I don't know.
Candy
But
says, I'm just saying we should just not talk about Darla because we don't want people to start thinking that we had something to do with her death, do we?
Which people? It's just us.
Well, Soupy, just, we shouldn't get into the habit of it, is all I'm saying.
But we
I mean, I
didn't
couldn't have
have
possibly
anything.
killed her. It's ridiculous.
No one
No
was
one
saying you
said-
were.
Thank you. Thank you for being in my corner, Toothy.
Well, we're walking, and she's presumably a little distracted. Can I look in that bag that
Of
I'm
course you
carrying?
can. Yeah. Go ahead and make a but this is gonna be with composure. Meddling me with composure, I'd say. Yeah.
That is an 8.
Indeed it is. We'll come back to this in a moment. What's everyone else doing while you're going up the trail?
I think Nancy is gonna pull Candy aside for some girl talk.
This is all just so stressful, don't you think?
Well, you certainly are complaining an awful lot about it.
Well, I'm sorry, Nancy, if I didn't expect for this trip to turn out to be, you know, the midnight ferry to Murder Island. I know we didn't come at midnight. It's not the point.
You are losing your cool and you can't even talk about what's happening. So I don't think that we can really be friends anymore because I've got a lot of questions.
Oh my God, stop being so dramatic. Of course we're going to be friends. We have to be friends. We have to stick together. It's just you and me and Tiki. Girl power, am I right?
What did you do to Darla, Candy? It was you, wasn't it?
Oh, stop. Stop, stop, stop. I know
No,
everyone.
I am going to be dramatic because you know what? Darla was always dramatic too, and you couldn't stand it.
I know Darla and I had our little disagreements, and I know things got a little crazy last year, and we had some tension, but it's perfectly ridiculous the idea that I would do something to hurt anyone. I wouldn't hurt a fly. I'm the life of the party.
You certainly are the center of attention, Candy. It's because you're so sweet.
Hmm. Where's my bag? Indeed, Boomer. Let me tell you of your bag findings. Um, you will find stuffed in her bag bloodied shards of a smashed beer bottle. While you find that, and maybe because you're so excited of finding it, you fail to notice that there's a little drop off on the trail, and you slip and slide down a little cliff, and you are currently holding on to a little root outcropping, hanging. The bag falls down to the ground. I don't think you die if you fell from this height. I mean, maybe, I don't know, but you sure as hell would be injured. What do you do?
Can I mark a red star?
You can, yes. The next one you have to mark says, narrate a flashback to that first day on the beach last year. Something happened between Darla and someone else at the party. Her actions caused someone to stomp off in anger. What happened? You'll tell that part, Ben. Everyone else will describe what happened from their perspective. So be thinking of the fight Darla had with somebody. And indeed, you find that clue and you're not you did not fall down you did not fall down a cliff. So what do you do at that point?
I'm guessing Candy's not in my immediate.
No, Candy and Snaps have gone off the trail.
Can I give just a little? You said he doesn't fall off the cliff, but maybe Boomer does indeed slip,
Yeah.
kind of catches on, and you know, Toothy's like, hang on, big
Yeah,
guy,
I
I'll
like
help
that,
you out,"
yeah.
and hauls him back up on the trail, pats him on the back.
Hey, thanks, Toothy. Good catch. But take a look at this. And he'll just hold the bag open.
Is that what I think it is?
I mean, that looks like blood.
Yeah, sharp points, red billows. Yeah,
In her bag.
it couldn't be. Not Candy.
Maybe it's her blood. Maybe she broke a bottle. We should tell Kenny.
Uh, why?
Because he's Kenny.
Moondog
Oh.
says, plunk, plunk, plunk. What's going on over here, gentlemen?
Um,
Nothing?
yeah, Boomer just tripped on the path.
Right. Isn't this forest great? When you look at these trees, it just, I don't know, it makes you think about the majesty of the universe, you know? Like, how old are these trees, man? 100 years? 1,000 years? These trees they've seen things that we can't even begin to comprehend, you know?
Only way to tell the age of a tree is to cut it down and count the rings in the marrow.
Toothy, plunk, plunk, plunk. You can't you can't boil these things down to science. Science can tell us how old the tree is, but science can't tell us why the tree is. You catch my drift?
Yeah, sometimes.
Right. What do you got there, Bobby?
Just Candy's bag.
I don't know about that Candy Clearwater.
Okay. Yeah, she's like kind of mean.
Oh, well, I was going to say, do you think she'd go out with me?
Yeah.
But yeah, she's kind of mean. She probably has unresolved issues. You know what I mean? Right. And he plunks back onto the main trail.
Boomer, we should probably. You're right. We should show this to Kenny. He's the smartest of us and the strongest of us, and the well, now that Chet's gone, the most handsomest of us.
Yeah. But Moondog is he said he was going to stay under the stars all night, right?
I assume that meant on the beach, but
And where was Chet's body found?
kind of at the edge of the forest.
On the beach.
I see you're thinking.
I do that sometimes.
It's all beach. What are you doing right now, Super K?
When I overheard Moondog talking about what the trees might have seen over all of this time, you see me go, oh, and Kenny starts climbing one of these trees. He just jumps up and limb to limb, and he wants to get to the top of the tree and get a better vantage point of the
Ah,
island and see if he can see anything. See what the trees might have seen across this crime-ridden paradise.
indeed, indeed. I would like to suggest that as you bound up, one of the branches snaps under your feet and you momentarily have to catch yourself. You do, but it doesn't help your already quite shot nerves.
Hmm.
And you can take the meddling move with vitality at disadvantage.
Um, when I do slip, I pull out my elastic band thing.
Okay,
I'm like,
to help you.
safety.
Good.
Safety first. I almost forgot in all the excitement.
If you mark it, that'll cancel out the
Yep.
disadvantage.
It will be a 10.
Nice. I'll give you a clue in a moment. Candy says to you, Snaps, I have to go use the little girl's room. Will you watch out for me? I don't want badgers or possums or something to attack me while I'm doing my business.
You should take Bongo with you. Dogs are good for that.
Uh, okay, fine. Where's Ripcord? I think I'd rather have Ripcord. He's too far up the trail. Just come on, Snaps. Just keep an eye out. I don't want any of the boys or bears or something to like sneak up on me.
Fine. But I mean it, Candy. If you're dragging me into your mess, you're gonna make me responsible for you again. I'm just fine. Go pee.
She does. Assuming you're not watching her, but you can hear her, you know. You hear her footsteps, kind of on the
There's a back-to-back ritual when
yeah,
girls pee in the woods.
yeah, on the pine needles and stuff, and
Mhm.
she's doing her business. At one point, you hear, "Oh, Bongo, gross," and whatever's happening is happening, and then you hear "Excuse me, who are you?" You can't see what she's looking at, but I'm curious what you do.
Uh, I think yell "Hey perv" as I move towards her in girl code situations and shout, hopefully loud enough for somebody else to hear up the hill.
Let's do the day move. What are you afraid is going to happen right now if this fails?
Then I lose my footing and I fall in something disgusting.
Oh no. Go ahead and roll with composure.
All right, that is a 7.
You keep it together. There will be a complication here. You catch up with Candy. She's like, there was like some old man watching me pee. I think you chased him off. Thank you.
All right.
You really are a friend. A good friend.
All right, Candy. Let's get back up the hill with the others. I don't want to be out here with you alone.
Right. Good. And then as you're walking back to the trail, she steps on something. She's like, what was that? And she looks down and she stepped on a rib, a bone. And then you see under a loose pile of leaves a skull. How do you feel right now?
I'm sorry I missed it. Is who?
It's for
What?
you, Snaps. She steps on a bone and then you like see a skull on the ground.
Skull. I thought gull
Oh no,
because of
skull.
the
No,
cannibalism
no gulls.
story earlier. And I was like, that can't be right. That can't be right. Um, snaps, snaps. Like she screams. She is full-throated, screaming as if she has found a dead body, and it's not. I lose my cool. I do.
Take a condition, terrified.
Mhm.
Kenny, I'm going to give you your clue that you see from your high vantage point. You see from your vantage point somewhere deeper into the forest. You can see the mansion, but you can see somewhere else. There's a shack out here. And painted on the side of the shack are the words, "He knows too much." That's your clue. And here I'd like to wrap the session by doing the red star. Ben, please narrate a flashback to that first day on the beach last year. Something happened between Darla and someone else at the beach party. Her actions caused someone to stomp off in anger. What happened?
This was after we'd gotten settled in at the beach a little bit. Right as the campfire was getting going for some spooky stories, and Darla was sitting next to Chet around the campfire. Not just next to Chet, basically in his lap. And Candy came up, and I don't think we hear specifically what was said. From Boomer's perspective, he was hanging out with Bongo as usual. But we see Candy and Darla exchange a couple words. Darla smiles in that fake kind of And then Candy stomps off, and Chet looks like he's going to follow her for a second, but Darla just puts her hand on his arm.
Everyone else has to say what happened or describe what happened from your perspective.
I think that Candy was standing next to Nancy before she walked over there to confront the two of them. And what Candy had told Nancy right before she left was, "I can't believe that he falls for it every time." And she goes storming over there, and from Nancy's perspective, it looks like she is going to fling Darla off of him in a fit of rage.
I don't see the fight in particular. But what I do see a few minutes later is Chet is sitting by the fire, beer bottle in hand, and he seems pretty chill. But then there's just a weird look on his face, and I'm like, "Hey, what's up, Chet, my man?" And he takes the beer bottle and he just breaks it, like breaks off the bottom of it, like he's gonna start a bar fight. And I'm like, "Hey, hey, I'm just saying hi." And he just looks at me and he's like, "No, you're fine. You're fine." But then for like the next 30 minutes, what feels like hours, he's just like staring at the reflection of the fire in the broken the bottleneck half of the beer bottle.
But what I saw was slightly before this. It was just that Chet knocked over his beer bottle straight onto Darla's beach blanket, and it was just saturated. Like nobody's gonna sit on that. It's wet and gloppy and gross. And really, that was why Chet kind of invited Darla into his lap. Was just, sorry, here, sit on my dry thigh. It's gonna be fine.
Interesting. The plot thickens. We'll wrap the session with the group arriving at a crossroads on the Pine Forest Trail. To the left, it goes up the hill to the mansion. To the right, it goes down to the other side of the beach, the other side of the island. And then, kind of in the middle, you can see a rougher path, one that someone has clearly taken, but has not been cleared completely. The sun is getting low in the sky. It's almost nighttime. And we'll pick up next week to learn what really happened to Chet Hollister and maybe Darla Sunset as well. Let's go to Stars and Wishes.
Stars, first off, for the vibes here. This is a lot of fun. It has the CFB uh, feel, but a very different tone than the CFB that I have experienced so far, at least. And I like this. This is a lot of fun. Characters are great. I'm really interested in uh, Toothy's history with regards to sharks and how that will continue to come out and haunt him. And I love Kenny being just this uh, Adonis nerd. It's such a cute little dichotomy. And now that Chet's out of the way, it's everything's smooth sailing for Kenny, right? And Snaps, the interactions between Snaps and Candy is really good. I like the way that Candy is not putting, sorry, Snaps is not putting up with Candy's shit, but it went to defend her immediately because girl code, and I think they are. I feel like I've had friends in high school who were like that. Like they didn't really like each other, but they were still friends, and so that feels very real. And yeah, this is fun. Looking forward to seeing how it wraps up.
I will echo the compliments of the vibes because it is tonally really fun to try and hit this particular genre point with you as a group in general. I also feel like it's mostly a star, but it's also a wish. This was a very gay version of the 1950s Highlands telling of. So I'm trying to do a lot of girl lifting over here while you guys all stare at each other's Adonisnesses. But all that said, I think it's also very on point for a lot of the what we're doing. So I enjoy Bobby Boomer Bennett is just such an accidental, it was pointed out in the chat, a Columbo type character of like, but wait, that's not what was said before. And just that being such a literal golden retriever, a golden retriever type that is also very literal. You're just asking pointed questions and also having fun interactions in that regard. Um, I like Soups being such a square is very genre specific in this instance, and I think that's also really fun. Um, I had made a point of telling Brian earlier that he had made an accidental callback with Toothy because his character in our main campaign also got bit by the Deep Lake Lurker. So I'm just enjoying a fun little Toothy exploration of Brian's characters as of late. So there's a lot more. Obviously, the um, Boston Terrier clocking the gay moment really sent me. So I had that was the big laugh out loud. But I think that was mostly because I'm just so grateful to be back and gaming with you guys again after a hiatus. It feels really good.
This is delightful. In broad strokes, it feels like this has taken the carve from Brindlewood Mechanics and just polished them. Like it's running smoothly. The pace of introducing characters and introducing the various aspects of the characters is really delightful. I was curious about dogs as a plot tool. Like, how was this going to work? And it's working really beautifully. What else? I love the kind of goofy beach meat market of this whole thing. And then within individual people saying stuff, the smart mermaid algebra was amazing. Chet both literally and metaphorically overlooking Nancy. That Chet and Kenny were going to take down the Soviet Union with combined brawn, brains, and body was unbelievable. And Boomer wandering the island all night. Um, what else? Oh, and Little Mary Poppins. And that springboard surfboard made me think of a like an electric rodeo bull ride, I mean. Sarah said the phrase emotional support clue hound. That'll come back in my life somehow, I'm sure. And Jason describing Darla as having been grazed by a harpoon. Sure, as one does.
Um, yeah, just the quick go around. I think all the shark stuff with Toothy is fun. Boomer's like weird, like love polyhedron, whatever is going on, where everybody wants him and he wants Kenny, and Kenny thinks he wants Chet, and all of that's a lot of fun. And then all the um, uh, Sarah like really leaning into like that like short like what's the word that I'm looking for? Short, kind of like firebrand kind of personality. I think is a lot of fun here too. Um, One of the things that's interesting is the campfire stories were all really good. That was a really like fun kind of moment as well to kind of like um, uh, sort of like close up that act of the game. It feels like this is probably kind of like a three act structure, and so that first act is kind of like that exposition that ends with this campfire story that starts adding some of these like sinister threads and that type of thing. And then the second act being the investigation, and presumably the third being the solution and the
Survival.
resolution. So
Yeah.
yeah, it feels like very cinematic in that way, like we're following that, and yeah, but still having all of these like fun little input points from our characters and ourselves.
Yeah, it was great fun. I this is the second time I've run it. And yeah, I wrote this game in a couple days. I was really happy with it. And I wrote it mostly as a sort of like template or an example for like how to do a sort of 2 session Cart from Brindlewood thing, you know? Um, and I'm really happy with it. I'm really happy with the structure. It all kind of unfurls the way I want it to. And like you mentioned, Mike, it has these beats, right? Like it's got this like, you know, these yeah, these like yeah, it is like a 3 act structure essentially. That first part is was always like the real like key design insight, you know. We did it for By Endurance We Conquer as well, where like you have to like you have to do a lot more world building in the beginning than you do in, say, a campaign of Brindlewood Bay or Public Access, because those games are ongoing games, and so you don't have to do so much like world building up front every time like when you introduce the mystery, right? You just introduce the mystery, but here you have to actually do a lot of world building before you do the mystery, and I was. And I'm continue to be pleased with that, like the structurally the way it works and how it kind of flows the way I want it to, and I think it works great. In terms of like this individual session, I thought everyone's characters were really great. They're very very funny, very like they felt like stupid teenagers, if you know, like they felt like really dumb fucking teenagers, and like you know like even like they like you can't explain their like hormones and emotions. Like it makes like no sense, right? Like but that's how teenagers are, right? And so that I just enjoyed that part of it. It was very gay. I was really that was great, but as noted, this is fantasy 1965. I also really enjoyed that dynamic between Candy and Sarah's character. That was that I don't know, like I know those girls, you know, like I know them, you know, like I feel like I know them, and so that came across really great. I also enjoy the sort of like combination nerd Adonis that Mike is doing with his character. I Boomer is great. I feel like Boomer is of a type of character that you play a lot, Ben. Like you have like a certain archetype that you play, but this was interesting because it was more like, what's the word? It was like there was something like kind of there's a word I'm kind of trying to like land on that made Boomer like such an interesting character to me. There was like a yeah, I think the way you described it, like
Earnestness.
an earnestness. That's the word. Yeah, like there's like an earnestness that was really intriguing to me in this group, especially. Um, and I really enjoyed that. I thought like I knew I could always like kind of throw to Boomer whenever like I wanted like Candy to be like in her candiness or whatever, you know. So that was always really fun. Um, yeah, and Toothy was really great. I like that you decided to like break off and go to Cowabunga Burger by yourself. I always love it when a character goes off by themselves to do something. I think that's when the system really kind of shines because it wants people to be alone in the dark and doing things in danger, you know. So that was really great. I appreciated that. Um, and yeah, it was really great. My wish is I do want to see the dance party move. We have enough conditions built up now to where I think we can do that. And so I'm excited to see that. Really excited for everyone to decide where they're going to go on the trail and to see the rest of the island. Yeah, and also what the final resolution of the Red Star is going to be because it seems like everyone's kind of building up to this like one like there's this maybe like everyone kind of added some like different nuances to that scene between Darla and Chet and Candy, and I'm curious like if how that's going to play out like and how it plays out might depend on who gets to mark the box, right? And so that's always fun. So yeah, just happy with that. It's a great fun session.
Speaking of that, another star in game design is that we're trying to solve the mystery of one character,
Hmm.
and all the red stars are the death of another
Yeah.
character. That's fantastic.
Yeah,
Absolutely love
thank
it.
you. Yeah, I had in my mind like that this is a that there's like this like I know what you did last summer quality to it, you know, and like the past kind of coming back to haunt these characters, and I also have this idea that these characters are like fundamentally like kind of as in these beach party movies, they're kind of fundamentally like oblivious, stupid characters, you know, but then like we're gonna learn we're learning there's more to it, right? Like it's deeper than that. It's deeper than this like shallow beach blanket bingo kind of situation. So yeah, I'm really pleased with how the session's going and how the game is. So,
I have one
yeah.
final wish
Mhm.
is that while we were painting Candy into a corner, as far as like murder responsibilities, and I was doing quite a lot of that in my scene as well, I wish and hope that it is just as satisfying a red herring
Yeah,
if it ever
I don't
gets
think
away.
it's candy.
You
I
know,
think
I
it's
don't
like
think it is
it's
either.
too
It
obvious for
could,
it at this point. Yeah,
but I
you know.
really love that in this like ditzy teenage
Yeah.
bubblegum kind of place, we're
Hmm.
all gonna make the wrong assumptions.
Right. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I have a wish that that turns out really in the best possible way.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm with you. I think there's something else going on. I think it's like I think Candy is too obvious. Like it's like Candy did something to Darla is too obvious, but maybe not. I don't know. Maybe the most obvious person is the one. Okay, cool. Anything else? All right. In that case, I'm going to wave goodbye to people watching the video